mate. We were supposed to be filming this today.
What time is it? Oh, so that lay-down seat is one of several very cleverly thought out features that make this newly updated Honda HR-V a very compelling family car. Can you get me a coffee? But I'm not sure it's compelling enough to be our 2024 hybrid car of the year, the Nissan Qashqai e-Power, and one of my personal faves from this class, the Peugeot 2008. So in this review, we're going to examine how practical this car is and whether it's as cheap to run as Honda claims. We're going to be comparing the HR-V against its key rivals, but if you've got a car that you think stacks up better than this, well, you can use our free comparison tool on the Cinch app so you can follow along and compare it kind of like a game of Top Trumps. Now there are changes under the bonnet of this updated HR-V, but first let's talk about the changes on the exterior, because if you think the Nissan Qashqai is a little bit bold in the design, well this might be the car for you because it's slightly more understated, and while the tweaks have lifted it a little bit, I really like this new rectangular shaped front grille. It's still got that slightly calm look about it, although interestingly, we've spotted these three colours added to the grille down here, and they are, well, what we can see are upside down BMW M colours. We're not sure why they're there. If you know, let us know in the comments below. Now around the side of the car here, you'll spot we've got 18-inch alloy wheels, and they are wrapped in Eco Michelin Primacy 4 tyres, which have a really good reputation for saving you fuel. So I've got really high hopes for this Honda. But above the tyres, we've got these painted wheel arch surrounds here, so they won't fade as the car gets older. You'll notice along the side, we've got this flash of blue, and on the top, we've got this silver finish matched by the mirrors, which is quite an old school look. And it contrasts the blue paint on this car, which is the only option added to our top of the range Advanced Style Plus. So altogether, this car costs over £38,000, which actually makes it a grand cheaper than a fully spec'd Qashqai e-Power, but it's about £4 more expensive than a top of the range 2008. And don't get me started on the even cheaper Skoda Karoq. And at the rear of the car, we have this now familiar HR-V light bar, unchanged from the pre-update car. But you might be thinking, well, this looks really similar to the one on the electric Honda ENY1, but underneath, these cars couldn't be more different. And there's also a big difference in the boot as well, because while this has far fewer batteries than the electric ENY1, somehow the boot in this HR-V is smaller. Now it does fight back because it's got some really cool features, which we're going to show you in a moment, that boost practicality. But if you're looking at this area here versus its main rivals, it's smaller. I mean, yes, there's plenty of space to get 4 of these cabin-sized suitcases into the boot, so for most people it's okay. But compared to the Qashqai e-Power, even with the underfloor storage down here, we have 200 fewer litres than you get in that car. And then even the Renault Captur E-Tech, a smaller car, has a bigger boot than this. But there is a feature which sets this car apart from all of its rivals, and it is this, a rear bench that folds completely flat down. Oh, and we're not done yet, because just like in the Honda Jazz, if I pull this handle here, instead of pushing the seat forwards, if I lift up the base and I fold this away, I clear this space in the middle here. Now, I'm not entirely sure what it's for, maybe for a dog, I guess. If you've got better ideas, let me know. But actually, it's not so bad. I mean, you can see how much leg room I have here. This is actually one of the most spacious cars when it comes to room for your legs. For your feet, it's a little bit more snug because the floor sort of lifts up under the seats ahead. I think the batteries are there. So while it's comfortable, I haven't got as much wiggle room for my toes as I might like. But I mean, if you're under 6 foot, it's going to be very comfortable to sit in the back here. If you're over 6 foot, well, then it is going to be a little bit cramped on headroom because the roofline of this car is not too high. So I just about fit, but I'm just under 6 foot. So taller passengers, it might be a bit of a squeeze for you here. And that'll be doubly true if you're sat in the middle seat, because this seat is quite a big elevation above the other two. So you're going to be really squashed. If it's just 2 of you in the back here, life's a bit nicer. I mean, firstly, you've got your armrest here with a couple of cup holders, although you don't get a ski hatch, and you also don't get any door bins as well, but there are places to put your drinks in there. So you've got the 2 in there and then a couple in the doors. You've also got a bit of storage room in here and a nifty place to put your phone as well, something to throw bits in down there, a couple of USB-C ports, vents. So it's a nice place to sit in the back here, so long as you measure under 6 foot. Now the good news is, in the front seats, even if you are way over 6 foot, there's plenty of space. Look, I've got tons of headroom here, and okay, yeah, I've got the seat set in its lowest settings, but I can show you, even in the highest setting, I've still just about got enough headroom. I can't actually see where I'm going because I'm now staring at the roof, but I do technically fit. And actually the rest of this interior is very comfortable. The seats are nice and supportive, they're quite wide as well, and I have to admit, Honda puts functionality above design in this car. So compared to the 2008, for example, which is very flashy and has all these cool claw-like features, this is pretty simple. It's much more like the Qashqai. But that is a good thing because it means we've got knobs and buttons where you want them to be there. Everything's just easy to use on the go. And it's got some useful features as well. Okay, there's not much space in here, but you've got cup holders here, got a pair in the door as well, and you even get old school stuff like, look at this, an owner's manual. I haven't seen those in a few years. Plus you've got your wireless phone charging bit down here and place to store another phone, couple of chargers. The infotainment system is going to feel pretty old school to anyone who's driven a modern car because, well, it's pretty primitive. But actually, on the move, it's very easy to use. The buttons are nice and big, they're clear. You've got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So I think for most people, it's going to be fine. Same goes though for this instrument cluster because half of it's digital, half of it's analog. The digital bit can be changed and customized, but it's just clear and crisp and simple. The analog bit is your speedo. It's nice to use, it's nice to read, easy to have on the go basically. And actually no clearer is that than with the climate control knobs down here because these are actually so easy to use on the go. In fact, I can show you now. It's really easy to just make adjustments on the go. And look, I don't even have to take my eyes off the road to tweak these knobs. It's amazing. What a fantastic invention just knobs are. It's like they actually work. The simplicity of that is actually carried into the way this car goes down a road because the hybrid system in this car is actually very complicated, but when you operate it, it's very simple. In fact, for most people, you're just gonna drive it like a normal automatic car. You're just gonna turn it on and you're gonna go. But actually there's a lot going on in the background because not only does this car mix a 1.5 litre petrol engine with a couple of electric motors, but it's also got an eCVT gearbox, which basically means it's constantly adjusting your gear ratios, but without making it too boring. In simplest terms, what is happening is this car is driving the wheels with the electric motors almost all the time. So it feels like an electric car, but in contrast to the Nissan Qashqai e-Power, which also does that, the engine can also drive the wheels under heavier loads. So if you put your foot down hard, like I am now, it starts to drive the wheels with the petrol engine as well. Although, the noise it makes when it does it isn't particularly nice. In fact, if I come out of this bend here and demonstrate, it sounds a bit... It's a little bit, well, gruff, not very characterful. It's a bit not nice, really. So if you drive it a bit more slowly, that's when this car is at its best. As soon as you start to really work it hard, you start to feel, doesn't sound great. The good thing is that the fuel economy is very, very good. In fact, Honda claims 52 miles per gallon, and right now we're getting 43.7 miles per gallon, which is pretty good actually. Is it better than the car you're keeping an eye on? If you're using our cinch comparison tool, you'll know whether your car's MPG is better than what we're getting. And of course, that's not the only thing you can compare, because that's not the only important running cost. You can also look at how much it will cost to tax the car. You can also look at the insurance group, and there's even the ability to see how much it will cost you to fuel your car per week to the nearest pound. It's that helpful. Despite not driving the car particularly efficiently for a lot of my journey. On the motorway, I was definitely using the energy, and in town, well, it actually was leaning into the electric a lot. So I have to admit, this car is super cheap to run if you drive it sensibly. If you also just cruise along, the ride is pretty good. It's definitely not the most cushioned car in this class, and it can be fidgety at times, but it is good and it is comfortable. And because the seats are quite nice, at no point are you really thinking about the ride. It deals with the worst of British roads pretty well. One thing I really like when I'm driving this Honda HR-V is actually the visibility you have. Now, the seating position is a bit higher than I would like in normal settings, but actually it means you've got a really good commanding view of the road. And also, these door mirrors are very chunky. They're basically square because they're so tall. And at lower speeds, you have a really nifty feature, which I think is pretty unique in this class. And it's a button on the stalk over here. If you tap it at very low speeds, it automatically turns the screen to show you your cameras so you can see into your blind spots. So if you're negotiating your way around a really tight city street or making a tight turn and you don't know what's down there or in your blind spot, clicking that button will give you quick access to the cameras, and you don't have to press any other buttons on the infotainment screen. So just like those climate control knobs, it's really easy to use on the go, so long as you're going really slow. Now, even before I put the car into reverse, look, I just tap this button here and then I've got my view, but it only works at lower speed. So this is definitely something to use when you're maneuvering. So for example, if I want to see what's ahead of me here, or if I want to check my blind spot. So that's quite cool. It shows me both the left and the right blind spot. It's useful also for when you're reversing, but naturally when you put the car into reverse, it will automatically give you a reversing camera. And I can demonstrate now how nice and sharp it is, because I actually want to use these door mirrors because they're just so nice and chunky. I can see so well, but if I glance over here, I can see that I'm getting quite neatly into this box here. So overall, it's very easy to park this car, very easy to reverse as well. Oh, and almost forgot about one of the good things of this car's hybrid system, which is the regen, because that too adds to the ease of use on the move, because we've got adjustable regen. Now you can just click the car from D straight into B mode, and doing that automatically turns the regen to maximum. So if I let off the accelerator, I'm decelerating even as I go down this hill. But if I click it into D, I can use the shifter paddles, or what would normally be shifter paddles, and I can adjust the regen on the fly, which is really, really good, because it means if I get onto the motorway, I can turn the regen down, make the car roll much more like an automatic. Or if I'm in town, well then I just simply click down on this paddle and that will bring the regen back up. So if I see traffic ahead, or if I need to slow for a lower speed limit, I can use the regen, not touch the brakes. That is easier to drive with and it's super efficient. And that does make up for the fact that not only is this car not that quick, but also, well, what a noise. So, unless you carry really tall passengers all the time, or every time you get in the car you brim your boot to the maximum, this Honda HR-V is still, in updated form, a very compelling family car. And of course, don't forget, it's got those nifty seats, so there's space for the dog in the middle, and you can even take a roadside nap if you lay those front ones down. Plus, I think with the tweaks to the design, it looks even better. Although, when it comes to the hybrid stuff, yes, this definitely is as cheap as Honda claims to run. We have been really impressed with the fuel economy today, but I must admit I do still prefer the hybrid powertrain in that Nissan Qashqai e-Power. And to find out why it was our car of the year last year and why it's so popular, watch our full review over here.